I think that really is going to be the big key moment that we all look forward to today, that big address by President Cyril Ramaphosa, appointed once again President of the African National Congress. But let's bring you day 5 of the National Conference, but also wrap up a lot of what happened yesterday. And for that, I am joined by Dr. Ronesh Dhawraj, who is, of course, SABC News Research Editor. Good morning to you, Doc, and good to have you back again.
Good morning, Naledi. Always a pleasure being with you.
5 days in, we're here.
Yeah.
And I think yesterday when we started the day with that big announcement of who the top 7 would be, and then you started seeing the big characters and really who's starting to step forward and show, their might. That press briefing with Fikile Mbalula, the newly appointed Secretary General of the party as well. Quite a big moment for him.
I think it was a very huge moment for him and for the party as well. If you'd recall back in 2012, 10 years ago exactly, at this very same spot, well, actually 2012 was in Mangaung, Bloemfontein, actually, in the Free State. Fikile Mbalula ran for SG for the very same post that he won yesterday. He ran this time against Gwede Mantashe, and Gwede Mantashe at the time actually won that position with the highest amount of votes, 77% of the ballot, and Fikile got just, I think, 901 votes, and it worked out around 23%. So it's all in the timing. Fast forward 10 years later, and he clinches the post. And if you look at the provincial nominations, Fikile Mbalula was right behind. He was at position number 3. We had the others, Ntuli from KZN, and the other one was Phumulo Masualle, who was the former Eastern Cape chairperson. They were leading the race in terms of the provincial nominations, and Mbalula was right behind with 749 nominations from the branches. And right from behind, he emerges to the top at yesterday's results that we saw.
I mean, it really has been incredible to watch, right? And we're going to get into some of what we heard from the press briefing, some of the big promises that he's making, and certainly what he said about, even tightening up the screws within the ANC as the SG. But it's such an important position, that position of SG, isn't it? In 2012, when Gwede Mantashe took it, you were able to start seeing a pattern where, in some cases, they were holding that position for quite a while. But there's the expectation that if you hold SG, your ambitions can go quite far.
I think that is quite true, and I think, this position is a very important one for the ANC. The ANC is a 110-year-old organization, Africa's biggest and oldest liberation movement cum political party. It is the engine room of the ANC, so everything that happens and goes on in the party, whether it's nationally, whether it's provincially, regionally, branch-wise, everything gets processed through the SGO's office. Obviously, he is deputized now by 2 deputy secretary generals. Obviously, before it was just a single post, but it is a very important office. And at yesterday's briefing, he was very firm. He says there will be no lawlessness as far as the ANC is concerned. So they're putting their foot down. It is a matter of renewing the ANC, saving the ANC, cleaning up branch membership. We've seen a decline in membership of around 270,000. We're not sure whether this was part of the cleaning up or renewal process. It possibly could be, because now, branch membership, new members, there is an induction process. People have to be politically, aware. They have to read the discussion documents of the ANC. There were constitutional amendments actually made. The first 5 constitutional amendments that were proposed in the July policy conference actually dealt with branch membership and just sorting out everything from the grassroots level. And what he said yesterday actually stood out for me. He says discipline is going to be at the forefront. The center has to hold, and he picked on the NEC and the leadership as well. He chastised those NEC members of attacking the president, and I think he mildly referred to what happened on day 1 of the political report when we saw the former ANC president Jacob Zuma walk in as the sitting ANC president Cyril Ramaphosa was speaking, and that was a huge sign of a huge form of disrespect to the current ANC president.
Many having said that.
So absolutely. So I think going forward, he also spoke about about the votes in Parliament. He says, if you guys want to vote with your conscience, then you might as well go and form your own political party. We will not tolerate it. You don't have a constituency. You come here on an ANC ticket. When those parliamentary lists for the National Assembly are submitted, one deals with the provinces and one deals with the national list. So it's not proportional representation where you are representing a specific constituency. So if you really want to vote with your conscience and not toe the party line, then the ANC is not a place for you. So it is a very, very important post. And I think if you look back, Kgalema Motlanthe was also SG. He was SG for 10 years. Gwede Mantashe was SG for 10 years. And amazingly, since 1991, the party was unbanned in 1990. Since 1991, the person who occupied the SG's post always enjoyed a second term until what happened yesterday. We know Ace Makashule was elected with a very slim majority of 9 votes back in 2017. He beat Senzo Mqunu by those 9 votes. But what happened yesterday was that Ace Makashule, obviously he wasn't in the race because step aside and suspended and all of that. So Fikile Mbalula kind of upset that apple cart, so to speak. So this is the first time since the party's unbanning that the SG post the SG post was not filled in by the incumbent.
Yes, right. I think it begs the question, and it remains to be seen whether or not Fikile Mbalula will be able to hold on to that position for 2 terms, as we have seen previously. Just quickly, what you're expecting to hear from the president of the ANC today?
I think the president's going to be very firm. He's just going to repeat what Mbalula said yesterday as well. I think the party is serious about cleaning up. They have to sort themselves out because we're looking at 2024 national provincial elections firstly, and then 2026. Remember, that's local government elections. Last year, November, the ANC dipped to its lowest ever since democracy, 47% with a turnout of 45%. The ANC is in serious trouble, and thankfully, they've got a young SG who understands the media, who has good relationships with the media, who understands, very importantly, social media. Because I can promise you,
this is true.
Even when President Ramaphosa goes to the National Assembly, he will be heckled.
Yes.
He will be booed. There will be a negative campaign against Ramaphosa leading up to the 2024 general elections. And thankfully, he's got a very strong team around him, led by Fikile Mbalula.
Yeah. We've got some interesting times ahead of us. We really, really do. Thank you so much for your time, Doctor. Always a pleasure. Dr. Ronesh Dhawraj there, who is SABC News research editor, always helping us unpack some of the data around this national conference. Let's head back to studio, Desiree.